and you mean moving on to the Kiwis. That's that right? I think, yeah. So we can over to New Zealand to start with. I think before we look at a particular location as image supplied here, looking at the topography of New Zealand being kind of a cornerstone of making guesses here, and I think New Zealand for most people is an easy, not an, I wouldn't say an easy guess, because it can be, you can confuse it with a couple of different areas. I don't always get it, um, but certainly, if you do spot it straight off the bat, which you can do, having an idea of actually where you are in terms of the elevation of its very mountainous country. Um, this is gonna help. A decent amount. I mean, is there anything to add on to that, guys? Do you think about the kind of the topography knowledge?
Yeah, the interesting thing about these mountains is that they actually cause a rain shadow effect, like not quite as intense as in South America. As like you don't really have deserts in this like this far south in New Zealand, but um, basically, as a general rule of thumb, just on the western side of the mountains, it's a lot more lush.
Hmm.
Like especially on that coast where you can see like the little bits of green. And then on the eastern side, where it's like a lot flatter, it's also green, but in some areas it does look a little more dry, Mediterranean
Yeah,
feeling
and all
almost.
the lush fields are man-made irrigated, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, that rain shadow meme coming back from the South America episode. I'm still not quite sure I understand it personally, but there we go. That's just me being smooth brain. I mean, this is the kind of information that turns you from a neek to a bean, really. Um,
Just remember, wet air comes from the winds from one side, mostly where the mountains are, and on the other side, because the mountains are so high, it's just dry winds down.
there you go. Science with 90 there. So we're going to take a look at some locations. So this one being described as typical West Coast South Island look. Um, Talk me through it, guys. There's a few different things I think to touch on here.
Yeah, again, just kind of lush, very green, a lot more plants, especially on that hill than you would see in the on the eastern side of the island, I'd say. A couple of ferns you can see around there. So yeah, keep an eye out for the ferns because there's a lot of ferns in New Zealand. We'll talk about those as well. But yeah, just overall more lush.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, noticeably, there's this idea. I don't know how you describe it, but like more. Yeah, this is definitely not how you describe it, but more like European grass. Like it's just kind of like this grass, how I know grass, which is kind of like stumpy and green, as opposed to Australia, where we've seen a lot more of that kind of long flowing. Not as nearly as lush as you said. Um, so I think that's immediately you kind of got that distinctive, as Giovanni says, grassy grass look there. Anything to mention about the yellow lines, the bollards, any of these kind of bits of information?
Well, the bollard is, and you stare at that picture perfectly for both sides. You can see a red strip on the top part that kind of hugs around on the back part. That's typically New Zealandish. You
So there's like a
can't
little bit of
see
a,
any other bollard. You see the tiny bits of red on the backside,
yeah,
but just it's like the reds are hugging on the back, but they don't touch each
yeah.
other.
I'm wondering what the bollard did wrong to get a red backside, but let's not focus too much on that. So we've got the yellow road line. I mean, is this something that's throughout New Zealand? Is this something Um, what's going on with the road lines here?
Yeah, this could be used to kind of tell that you're in New Zealand because there's not many countries that have these. We talked about Argentina and Uruguay having them. Um, I think Finland also has them. Can't really think of anywhere else. But yeah, New Zealand does have them as well, so can use those to tell that you're in New Zealand as well.
Definitely, but they are not on every road. The yellow middle line is not on every
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
It's just to indicate people cannot overtake on that part, because towards the north you can see there are normal dashed white lines in the middle,
Yeah.
which means the not overtaking zone is over.
Okay. Yeah. So I think in the UK we do double white lines. So I think it's a different way of handling that. So that's I wouldn't have necessarily thought that was what it was for. So that's quite interesting, really. Cool. Moving on to our next typical Central South Island look. Quite a bit
Yeah.
different. So yeah, go on, take it away.
It's a location where the rain shadow effect comes in. It's still Southern Ireland, but a bit more north, pretty central, where the highest peaks are on the western side, and east of those mountains, you see there's not much rain. It should be, I think, even a summer or autumn picture. Because
March 2020, it says. Yeah.
oh, March is it? Doesn't matter. The trees are still green, but you see there's not much rain there.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely
Even
dry
in
looking.
summer, you don't get that much more green, and in winter those trees are just barren.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the general grass area and the mountains look the same year round.
Yeah, interesting. This is kind of that grass I was referencing. Kind of dead looking, I guess, but a lot more wispy, not quite as grassy grass as you'd say. Another example of that hugging red bollard there. Yeah, interesting location. I didn't show the actual location on the map of the last one, so I'll do that very quickly. Which I believe, just to double check.
Ben, the chat is telling you that you're wrong, because actually Nighty was right, because in the southern hemisphere, the seasons are backwards, so March would be early
September.
fall.
No, I
Yeah.
was just literally read out the date to you because I didn't know if you could read it on Discord. I wasn't making a judgment.
It sounded a little
Okay.
bit negative.
Yeah. When you say March, it's always our perception of
Yeah, no,
the northern
I do
season.
know it's reversed. No, I was just saying like, oh, it's March. Like I'm reading your thing because it's small. But you know what? I act fine. If I'm a smooth brain. Does that make you happier? If that helps your insecurities, chat, then go for it. I'm a punching bag apparently. So we're looking at we're down here for this location. So as you said, obviously on the Southern Island. I think this was the. I'm gonna get confused if I keep doing that. So there we go. That's an example, and then we've got our first. So that was central, and then we've got a look at an East Coast, a typical East Coast location on the South Island. Very condescending. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. So again, a little bit. This is almost a bit of a mixture of the first location and the second location. It's kind of got a couple of elements in both. This is September. September. Does that help? Yeah, take it away. What are we looking at here?
It's just greener, but it's still not like as lush. There's not that many trees. Again, this is mostly the pasture area, so where you'd find the sheep in New Zealand. Yeah, there's some planted forests over there. You do see a lot of planted forests in New Zealand, but yeah, not that much
Mostly pine trees
vegetation.
for lumber.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Also, what I've only seen in New Zealand on the side of the road, those bushy plants
Yeah,
with the
I was
white
looking at those.
top. Not those.
Oh,
Those are nearer to the road, with a pointy white head. On the
What,
north.
these
Yeah,
things?
exactly. Those. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we've got.
I've only seen them in New Zealand
I used to have one of
so
these in my
prominently
garden.
on the side of the
Those are
road.
like reeds, aren't they?
Yeah, these are well
Yeah.
good because you basically what you do is you snap them off at the bottom, and then you smack your brother with it. That's what I used to do. They're nearly as good as those ones with the sausages on. But yeah, them obviously some kind of because these are
But
kind of
in
like
Street View territory, you almost only see them in New Zealand. So close on next to the road.
okay. Yeah,
Nothing else, just those things.
it's interesting. Definitely different. Um, yeah, I mean, if you put this on a no move pan zoom without the bollard in, I would say this was like up north in the UK every day of the week. There's
Yeah, they
nothing
look
about
very
this
similar.
Could easily be.
because
Yeah.
there's a bath or something there, which that would
You
say.
just have to use the shadows, I guess, try and figure out which side the sun is.
Yeah,
And yeah.
yeah. People saying it's Scotland, but I can't see any heroin junkies anywhere, so probably not that location. So we'll just take a quick look.
No, not Glasgow.
We'll take a quick look where that was. So obviously a little bit more coastal. Um, yeah, East Coast, as you guys rightly described. So I think they were the three locations we took a look at for the South Island. Now we're going to have a look at the Southern Alps, which have been described as beautiful towering mountains with quite a lot of lakes and fords, and it can be quite dry. I mean, this is like picturesque, right?
Um,
This is like chocolate box
it's
stuff, yeah.
it's just the east side of the mountains that are that dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can also see what RC said the round before, the planted trees, the pine trees, and many narrow lakes with snow-capped mountains
Yeah.
on the other side. Sometimes you get a lake where there are mountains all around.
Yeah,
Just
this
beautiful New
is
Zealand.
Yeah.
very picturesque.
Yeah, definitely. Very it's just kind of breathtaking surroundings. And I think obviously yeah, the colours here not quite as lush, a little bit more muted. I think yeah, obviously your mountains and stuff are a big giveaway. Nice looking lake. This feels quite cold, this picture. I guess it's August, so it is winter, right? That would be
Yeah.
winter, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to remember most of New Zealand is actually pretty cold because it is really far south, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess yeah, 100%. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Obviously, just to contextualize that location, um, next to a fat lake called Lake Pukaki, which I'm sure I've pronounced wrong, um, and yeah, and that arrives from the Tasman River apparently. So yeah, some factoids there. Um, I mean, yeah, quite an incredible location, really. Um, yeah, I think that's a tourist kind of attraction. I knew someone was going to say it. Yeah, Lake Punani. Yeah, very well done. Congratulations for making that joke. Right, we're going to have a look at Christchurch. This has been described as, unlike my chest, extremely flat, with a distinguishing factor here, the evergreen rose or pine hedge. This is quite different from what we've been looking at, especially from the last location. So yeah, I mean, is this a pine
yeah,
hedge? What's this about?
yeah, this is exactly what I associate with the area around Christchurch. If you remember on the map, it was that flat green area in the eastern side of the South Island. And this is just like flat farmland with these like hedgerows made out of like pine. I don't know what they are, honestly, but you just see them everywhere. Or you see rows of evergreen trees.
Is this to
So
combat wind?
yeah,
What? I didn't quite get the point of this.
I think so. I think maybe erosion.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I guess it could be some sort of privacy measure, but it seems like I just moved, and for some reason,
Imagine imagine Tim David's trying to climb over these.
I mean,
That would not go
he
well.
would be screwed if he tried to do that. I mean, but it is Tim David's. He probably has, he's probably signed this. He's probably put a little Tim David sticker on there because he's likely walked this road.
No, no, he cheats and goes straight through.
Oh, you went straight. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting location. Very, very flat. I'd say this is actually Lincolnshire if I was going to guess personally. Um, so just to give you an idea of where this is, as you might have seen earlier on the map, this is very close to Christchurch, and I guess it is very flat in this area. I know nothing about geography, but I find that quite intriguing. You got this seems quite bumpy and mountainous. This is very mountainous here. What makes this so flat in this area? Do you guys know why, or I have
The
no
question
idea.
is why there's a peninsula on the east.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Probably
just
volcanic.
very
No idea.
strange. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
a really old volcano.
Interesting, really interesting looking country. I think, but
But
obviously,
those fields there in the Christchurch area can be so flat and vast that you don't even see the mountains to the west.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, crazy. Um, yeah, yeah, very interesting looking country for sure. Cool. I think we've got some more locations to move through. So that was the Christchurch area. Uh, so we're looking at the next location, the North Island. This has been described as boring. Guys, t- please describe to me why you describe this area as boring.
It's just rolling hills everywhere. You can easily confuse it with a location in the South Island, in between the mountains and the flatlands, far in the south or in the north. But this is a location where you can see Mount Taranaki,
Yeah,
a
I'd say this
famously
is
nice circle-shaped volcano around.
I'd say this is the only interesting thing in North Island.
Yeah, and interesting fun fact that volcano has a 6 mile radius
Jesus.
around it where no one can farm. It's just all forested. And you can see the whole forested circle, the 6 miles around,
Yeah.
even from outer space.
Huh. That's wild. It's quite a pleasant looking mountain, really. Quite nice. I could probably. It's not too steep.
Yeah,
I
and
reckon
the
I'd get
eruption is 90 years overdue now.
the erection. Oh, eruption. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
90 years overdue. Bloody hell, that's that blue-balled volcano there. I think I mean I could climb to the top of that. Let's be honest, hour and a half. I reckon I could get there
Yeah.
because it's not that
You can
steep, is it?
drive, I think, up to 2/3.
If you look at it, it's not that steep. Easy. I don't know what people go on about climbing mountains being hard and stuff. Load of bollocks, really. Right, let's actually take a look at the location. Maybe some of you know where that actually is. Let's put it onto the satellite. Will this help us understand what it? I mean, can't really not a true look from space, I guess. But yeah, Jesus Christ, it's actually kind of scarily perfectly circular in an odd sort of way.
Yep, it's because it's a national park, and from 6 miles around the peak, you can't farm anything.
Yeah.
So it's the exclusion zone, and this tip of the North Island is one of the few parts where it's really flat like a pancake. So you can see where the farming ends.
Hmm.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever looked at this. Is this another? What's going on here? Is this another volcano here? This is looking suspect. strange.
It looks a bit mountainous, so
Yeah.
probably just an area where people can't farm.
I honestly think, but let's be honest, this is actually more likely to be a UFO crash site. If we're being honest, I think there's some ancient alien stuff going on here. Maybe you guys are interested in hiding the truth, but we will be discovering the real truth on the Aliens in New Zealand podcast, which is coming up straight after this, without the government plants on. Um, Right, so that was the boring area of New Zealand. God, thank God that was over. The giant volcano. Um, moving on to the next location here, which
No, this
is
is the boring part.
I say it's all well, fuck me, it's all boring. No, so this is the Northwest Peninsula. I'm gonna say apart from this rather bent tree, it is looking a little bit more boring. I guess talk me through it.
Yeah, this area is just kind of rugged, isolated. It's mostly Gen 2. There's a little bit of Gen 3 and Gen 4. There's a lot of ferns over here that you can see again. Those silver ferns, or is what they're called. Some planted forests again. A bit of agriculture, but it's a lot more isolated and rugged.
And not as much pine trees as in the south.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
more normal trees, more standard trees.
Yeah, makes sense. See some cows. Some weird yellow bollards. Is that anything, or just very specific to this one particular location we've clicked on? These yellowy boys.
I personally have never seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
No, weird, aren't they? Might be something the farmers put in or something like that.
Maybe that area gets pretty foggy from time to time.
Yeah, could be. Good point. Um, wooden poles in the ground must be Colombia. Correct. Um, so obviously, right at the top here. Well, you obviously got Auckland there, even further north there. Yeah, pretty kind of a remote area as you kind of described it. Not too much going on here, which I guess makes it more boring, as you guys like to say it. I do want to highlight Radu in chat. I think is that an RC imposter?
Yeah, it's my imposter. I don't know.
Welcome to stream, Radu. So we've got some fern meta here to finish off New Zealand. Lovely picture here of some ferns. And we've got an up close one from Wikipedia as well. What's going on? I'm not Radu C. I've been asked a lot. I know you're not Radu C because I'm speaking to Radu C. Thing. I mean, ferns quite an aesthetically pleasing plant. What's going on with these then?
Those are ubiquitous in New Zealand. You see them on the side of the road in every single forest. Almost everywhere those silver ferns are peeking out. And they are so ubiquitous, they are even made the national plant of New Zealand. Many sports teams have that fern as their logo, the rugby team, the football team,
Okay.
you name it.
Yeah, and also New Zealand had a what's it called? Like they wanted to change the flag to just a black flag
flag
with the silver
referendum.
flare.
I
Yeah,
think
don't know what happened actually. I don't know if they're going to change it or not. But I know they
No, I
had
think it was
something on it.
dismissed. They had the option for the flag as it's now with a fern, a red fern on the blue background, and instead of the Union Jack on top, the Cross of the South
Yeah.
on top. But they chose to keep the old flag.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, a nice way to finish off New Zealand. I mean, something a bit of meta you guys might not be aware of. This is all these ferns are also known as New Zealand Kush, 420 Blaze It, my brothers. So if you're ever in New Zealand, pick yourself up, skin up, and peace out
Dry them.
Yeah, got it. Cool weed, boys.